Whoa. All right, it's live.
It's live now? Okay,
yes.
Cool.
All right, it's live. We got two people watching.
We got two people. Two people watching. Now we got four. Hey, Duke. Hey, Mike, what's up? Hey, Larry, what's up? What did that say? $56.
Yeah.
Hey, Larry, what's up, Tim and Tyler?
All right, there's 63. I just shared it to every group, so.
What time is it?
7:03.
All right, we'll give it to 7:05.
Right. Michael Thomas asked, Mike Hawkins asked, what are we tying tonight?
We're going to be tying some shad flies tonight, Mike. We'll see what we, how many we get. I got three patterns prepped, and if we get to all three of them, great. If we don't, we'll get them next time.
All right, we got 85 people, and it's 7:05. Go
all right, cool. Let's get started. Hey guys, how are you doing? Welcome back again to our second Facebook Live. Appreciate you being here. We're up to almost 90 people watching now, so that's pretty good.
Duke said the hackle trick you showed last week works like a charm.
That's cool. All right, guys. So thanks for being here again this weekend. Last weekend, as we talked about, was our first one, and we learned a lot from it. It was definitely a success. I think the last time I checked, it had been viewed almost 9,500 times. So that's pretty cool that we can put a video out and basically 10,000 people can watch it in a week. So thank you guys. We noticed that a lot of people took advantage of our specials that we ran last week. The bring the show to you. Good for you guys on that. We had a very good week. We sold quite a few vices. A lot of people were very happy and took advantage of it. So that's good. That was the reason that we did that. So again, the shows were canceled, but we're going to do our best to bring Norvise to you. So today, Tyler and I got out on the river. We were out for almost a full day today. We did our that was our attempt at social distancing, as they're calling it nowadays. honestly, we probably could have gone to the local shopping mall and distanced ourselves from more people than we found on the river today. But everybody had the same idea, so we all were out. It was a beautiful day. We got some fish, so it was a good day to be out on the river. We're going to talk about March Madness. We're going to hopefully spin up a few bugs. We'll see how long this goes. I've got 3 patterns prepped. They're 3 of my personal shad flies that we're going to tie. And if we get to all 3 of them, great. If not, we'll save them and maybe do them next week. Speaking of next week, this is something that we're real excited about. These Facebook Live events. I can see us doing this. I want to say we're going to do one every week. Realistically, I doubt that we will do 52 of these in a year, but I want to say that it's something that you can count on a regular basis. And that being said, if there is something that you want to see, if there's any suggestions that you have, we've been doing them on Sunday night. Maybe that's a good night. Maybe that's not such a good night for everybody. So any suggestions that you have, we want to hear them. I know last week we had a suggestion. Somebody wants to see us use the dubbing brush table, and I have that on the list of things to do. We had a couple of other suggestions. I had a good one today from my buddy John McMinn. This evening, I'm going to be tying flies, and I'm just going to be demoing them. But he had a suggestion of doing a tie along where I would put the pattern out that we're going to tie. John McMinn is watching. He just signed on. I'm going to put on the pattern that will tie and the materials that you need, and then we'll do a one pattern kind of tie along, so it can be a virtual teaching type of thing. So these are all great suggestions. Please keep them coming. We're also going to kind of expand on this a little bit, and we're going to have some of our ambassadors do Facebook Live, so you're not watching me every week. You may be watching a Nor-vise Facebook Live from Idaho, or you may be watching one from Richmond, Virginia, or different parts of the country. So this is it's a good medium for us. It's a good medium to get content out, and it's a good medium for you guys to learn from other tires and other things that people do with the vise. So let's get started. Let's talk about the March Madness. So as we're cooped up in our houses and on whatever you want to call it. Fortunately, I am still working in Delaware. Anything that has to do with manufacturing has been deemed necessary. So I personally haven't missed any work yet. Very, very thankful for that. I know people that are not in the same boat as I am, and they've been out of work for a little while, and it's that's got to be tough. But as we're sitting here and we're trying to pass the time, wow, from Wales, United Kingdom, that's pretty cool. As we're trying,
a couple different Canadas.
Okay, from Canada too. So as we're passing the time, we kind of are thinking of ways to get people involved and get people tying and get them on their vise. So one of our customers, Christopher Dugan, typed up or posted up a March Madness type bracket on the Norvise Facebook page. I don't know, it was like Wednesday or Thursday. And for those of you who are familiar, it's the March Madness, the 64 team, round one, and then the winner advances to round two, winner advances to round three, and the bracket keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller until the two meet in the middle. And he posted that up and said, hey, I saw this on another site and thought it would be kind of fun.
North Scotland. Okay, cool. So he posted that up and said, hey, this would be pretty cool. And I think I put a message on there and said, hey, if this is something that you think we can do, I would be willing to jump in and help, and Norvise will put up some type of prize, and it'll be a good prize if people want to do this. So Chris and I messaged back and forth, and within about, 2 or 3 messages, I got the feeling this was going to be something that was going to be really, really cool and really fun to do. Australia. All right. What time is it there?
Good day, mate. What time is it? Are you a day ahead of us or a day behind us? I don't know. But
same day as us.
Okay,
International
cool.
Dateline.
All right. Tyler's smarter than I am.
That's recorded too.
So we were messaging back and forth, and then I got to thinking about it. I'm like, man, this is something that would be really cool. And we decided to go ahead and do it. And we were playing around with how many people should we do. And 64 for this first one seemed to be a little much. And we were kind of hinging back and forth between 16 and 32. And Chris was like, do you think we can get 32? And I said, yeah, if we give it enough time, we can get 32 people to sign up. I figured it would take a couple days, 2-3 days, maybe a work week to get it signed up. We posted this last evening that we were taking. You guys could sign up if you were in. You could sign up, and we filled 32 tires in about 3.5 hours. So thank you for that. That just goes to show, the dedication of the Norvise customers. This whole thing goes to show, I mean, we tie on the most innovative fly tying system on the market, and we have the most innovative think outside of the box customers. And this whole thing was spawned from an idea from one of our customers. And you know that it's going to be a good event because today I am already thinking about what we can do next year to make this better. We haven't even started on the one this year, and I'm already thinking about what we can do next year. So we've got 32 people. The field is full. There were a bunch of people that wanted to get in that unfortunately didn't get in on time. You guys, I apologize. We're going to do it again next year. So, hopefully you can get in. You can get in next year. One guy sent me a message and he's like, I was literally away from my phone for 2 hours. I came back in to sign up and it was all full. And again, thank you guys for that. We really appreciate the support. So I'm going to read I'll read the rules. If you have any questions, let me get through the rules first, and then if you have any questions, I can start taking questions for it. We're going to post the rules, and we're going to actually the bracket is already posted. It's on the home site or homepage of the Nor-vise website. So I'm going to read the rules, and then if you have any questions, you can let me know. Then I'm going to read the matchups, and some of the matchups are really, really good. All right. So the rules.
No, Keith, you're not allowed to donate your spot. I want to watch you get whooped.
Why is Keith donating his
He goes,
spot?
I can donate my spot if I need to. And I'm like, no, I want to watch you get whooped.
No. Okay, so the way that we're going to do this, we have 32 tires, so that's going to be 5 rounds. If I have this counted right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's going to be 5 rounds. Each round will be a fly category. So this first round, and I'll tell you what the category is here in a minute. But at the beginning of each round, we're going to do, streamer, dry fly, nymph. There may be a popper. There may be a slider. We haven't thought that all the way through. We do know what the first one's going to be. So you will be given 48 hours to tie the fly from the round posting time. We're going to kick this thing off tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Okay? So that means by Wednesday morning at 7 o'clock, you need to have your fly tied, photographed, and submitted so that we can begin the judging portion of each round. Completed flies are to be sent via Facebook Messenger to Christopher Dugan, along with one in-process picture. Everyone will tie within the same time period and submit their pictures for the round. We will stagger the post on Facebook for voting throughout the week. And the reason we're doing that, especially on the first round, is because there's going to be 16 different posts, and we want everybody to... I don't want to put all of them up at the same time because I'm afraid, some of them may get buried and they won't get the proper exposure. So we'll probably put 2 up and then wait a day and then put 2 more up. And then as we go deeper into the competition, there won't be as many as many photos to judge, so we can kind of speed up the judging process. We're thinking this whole thing is going to take about 3 weeks from start to finish. Time categories will be announced via Facebook, and everyone will be tagged so you know the clock is running. Keep an eye on Facebook once the tournament starts so you don't miss the start of a round. Okay?
This next one is very important and very important. The completed fly picture must show your Nor-vise in it. Okay, now if you take the picture and it shows the front part of any of our jaws, I know that they're our jaws. I mean, I machine them, so I know what the parts look like that I machine. So you don't have to have the entire vise in it, but we do need to see at minimum the fly in one of our set of jaws. Obviously, one of the rules, you have to tie on a Nor-vise. It's the Nor-vise March Madness, so you have to be tying on a Nor-vise. Tim will post the final pictures to the official Nor-vise Facebook site for voting. There will be 24 hours from posting of the completed fly for judging by the community. The most likes on Facebook, that's how we're going to determine who the winner is of each round. Only, very important, please understand this, only likes on the official Nor-vise Facebook site will be counted. We do encourage you to share your round on all of your social media platforms. We would love for you guys to do that. Make sure when you post it that you tell the people they have to go to the Nor-vise page to like it. If you post it on your Instagram and a person likes your picture on your Instagram, it's not going to count. It has to be on the official Nor-vise Facebook page. That's very, very important. So make sure you say that when you post your pictures.
Jim Benzinger asked if he could get a loaner vice to play.
Sure.
Unfortunately, not this year because we're full, but moving forward, that's definitely something we can talk about, Jim.
And Jim, if you want a loaner vise and if you just want to tie along with the rest of them, I will send you one. You're more than welcome to tie on our vise. Absolutely, bud. Okay. You cannot vote on your own matchup. Okay, come on, guys. This is fun and all that, but let's be smart about this. Another important thing, myself or Tyler or Michelle, anybody associated with Nor-vise, will not be voting on any of these pictures. We opened this up to everybody. There are several of our ambassadors and several of our team Nor-vise guys that are in the competition. So we will not be voting. So don't get upset if you don't see a like from me, because I'm not going to like any of them. I mean, I'm going to like all of them, but I'm not going to officially like them on the website or on the Facebook page. Okay, 32 tires max. Like I said, we filled that up in about 3 hours again. So thank you guys. Okay, the winner will receive a $500 Nor-vise gift card. So this is a fun thing. We want you guys to have fun. It's really designed to kind of push your tying skills. Let's hypothetically say we have a guy who's really, really good at tying, I don't know, feather game changers or something like that. And they don't really tie a whole bunch of smaller trout stuff. Well, if they're going to win this competition, you're going to have to tie smaller trout stuff. And the thing about this, whoever wins it is going to be a very well-rounded, very accomplished fly tyer, and that's what we're looking for. So I will post all of these rules up on the Nor-vise Facebook page a little bit later tonight. If you have any questions, you can start firing at me, and I'll do my best to get them all answered up. And now I'm going to read the matchups, and this is
some good matchups.
This is going to be pretty fun. There's some good matchups here. All right, so this is what the bracket looks like. Okay, you can see it's just like the March Madness, 32 people. So we've got 16 here and 16 down here, and then as each person advances, the bracket gets smaller and smaller and smaller until we get right here in the middle. Okay, so now this is up on the website. It's on the homepage of the website. I will say it's a little hard to read. You can click on it and it blows itself up a little bit, but it's still kind of tough to read. So if you have any questions, just drop me a message. But here's the bracket, and we'll be updating this each round.
Keith said, well, he's out. I already lost. When you mentioned you got to be well-rounded.
Okay. Now, I'm probably going to butcher some people's names here, and if I do, I apologize. Hey, Fred, what's up? If I do, I apologize, but I'm going to do my best here. So, game number 1 on the first round is going to be Marty Castor against Cioli Ayers. Chaley Ayers. I apologize. I knew that was going to be the first one I was going to butcher.
It's Latin and weird. It's okay.
Okay, so Marty Castor, how do you say it?
Chaley
Ayers.
That's game number 1.
I think.
I think.
I don't think she watched.
She's a friend. She's a friend of ours, so a friend of Tyler. So she, it's all good natured ribbing that we're giving here. Game number 2, first round, Lance Keckel and David Landery. And again, if I say your name wrong, I apologize. Round number 3, Sean Rakes and Sal Vetti. I'm sorry. Game number 3, round 1. Okay, this is a good one. Game number 4, round number 1. Kevin Griffin versus Brittany Davenport. They are both Nor-vise ambassadors. They both worked the booth with me. Kevin in Atlanta, Brittany in Linwood. And they are both fantastic tires. So that's going to be a good round. Okay, game number 5, round number 1 is going to be Duke Davis. For those of you who don't know, up until recently, Duke was one of the head people at Project Healing Waters. We just converted him over to a Nor-vise, and he's loving it. So Duke Davis against Keith Bearfield. So this is going to be another good matchup. Okay, game number 6, round number 1, Stephen Palmer, Jerry Griffin. Game number 7, round number 1, Jamie Franklin and Eric Snyder. Both very, very good tires. That's going to be a good one as well. Game number 8, round number 1, Vern White and Chris Cook. Okay, so now we'll look that's on the left side of the bracket. Now we'll switch over to the right side of the bracket. Game number 1, right side, round 1, it's Grayling Lake Lodge. So that's a Facebook account that is a lodge. I'm not sure who the person is. If you could get us your name, your actual name for that account, we would appreciate that. I'd like to get your name up there, please. And he is going against Christopher Dugan, who is the guy who's kind of spearheading all this. Game number 2, on the right side, on the first round, Shannon Messer and Michael Thomas. Game number 3, on the right side, first round, Brian Davenport, who is Brittany Davenport's husband, who is an ambassador as well, and Tom Weir, who is a team Nor-vise guy. So now we've got a Nor-vise ambassador going against a team guy. So that's going to be another great matchup.
So if Brian loses, does he lose his ambassadorship? And Tom Weir jumps up, or like they really play for stakes on this one?
Are they fighting for spots within
like
the
it's a hierarchy thing?
Mm-hmm. That's going to be a good matchup. But both of those guys are really, really good tires. Let's see here.
Chris Dugan goes, I'm toasting round 1.
He's okay. Do you know who he is? Because I don't know who the guy is. Okay, we are at 1, 2, 3, 4. Game number 4, right side of the bracket, round 1, Sean Crow and Vinny Mills. And Vinny, you will have your vice in time, I hope, to get this thing to get you squared away. I'm guessing you're going to get it tomorrow. Vinny just bought a Nor-vise, by the way. Okay, here's another good one. We are on game number 5, right side of the bracket, round 1. Ed One Boot Hayes, Nor-vise ambassador, and Jay Rock, Nor-vise team guy. Both very accomplished tires, both very kind of understated, not real flashy. I don't think either of them are, but fantastic tires. That's going to be one I'm going to watch really close. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Game number 6, right side of the bracket, round 1, Brian Bradford and Braden Miller. So that's looking for good things out of Braden on this deal. So, buddy, you better start getting ready to tie some small flies because you're going to have to do it. Game number 7, right side of the bracket, round 1, George Miller and Matt Schindler. And last, certainly not least, game number 8, right side of the bracket, round 1, Terry Landry and Jeff Thompson. So there's your matchups. They're all on the bracket. This actual picture is posted on the home page of the website right now, so you can go in and see. And like I said, you can read them. They're a little small. If you click on it, it will blow up a little bit, so you can see your
see where you're who you're going up against, and then we'll update this so you can track it as we get to the final two. All right. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to fire away, and we'll give a couple of minutes, and then I will I'll do a little time. That Kevin Griffin and
Brittany
Davenport. That's going to be a good one. That's going to be a really good one. And I don't know if the Davenports are watching this. I'm not sure if they're here. I know they were heading up into the mountains to do some fishing today. So they might not even know who they're going against at this point. All right. Any questions? No questions.
Nothing popping up. All right.
Okay. All right. Let me get rid of this. Apologize for drinking while we're on camera, but you're talking and I just get so dry. I gotta drink something, or I'll get.
They want to know what's the first fly in the contest.
Oh, I was going to wait.
I got
on
about
that.
4 of those.
4 of those. All right, I'll go ahead and let the cat out of the bag. The first fly, and it needs to be tied and photographed and submitted by Wednesday at 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to post them Wednesday night when I get home from work. The first one, Kevin Griffin.
Kevin's nervous.
Now I'm nervous. The first one is going to be nymph. So any nymph that you want to tie, any whatever. I'm not even going to put any thoughts in your head. Any nymph that you want to tie. And everybody's going to tie a nymph. We're going to put the pictures up side by side on Facebook, and most likes wins. And like I said, we would encourage you. In fact, we want you to share your game on all of your social media platforms. Just make sure that you tell the people that they have to go to the Nor-vise page, the Nor-vise Facebook page to vote. That's the only place that the likes are going to count. All right? Any other questions?
Vern White asked, "What's it take to be an ambassador?"
I'll tell you what, Vern. Probably this isn't the time to talk about that. But if you'd like, shoot me a message, and we can communicate about it after the live stream. Okay.
Chris Dugan said, Jerry Griffin said, "What, you didn't want to put the 2 Griffins with each other?" And Chris Dugan said he thought about it, but he used an auto picker.
Yeah, we did. That's a good. Yeah, thanks, Chris. We put all the names in a computer program, and it auto picked the matchup. So these were totally random. I think it's cool how some of them came out, because there's going to be some cool ways that this thing can shake out. And I've done these brackets with. I'm not really a basketball guy. I don't really get into the March Madness, but I've done them with musical bands, and I've done them with candy bars, and I've done them with movies, and it's funny to see, you think something's going to win, or you think one band is better than the other, one movie's better than the other for your personal taste, but when you put it out to the public and people are voting on it, it could go either way. So it's a cool idea. I'm really excited about it.
Matt Schindler said, "Oh man, it's been a long time since he tied."
Yeah, Matt ties.
Sorry, it ain't a 2-fly, Matt.
Yeah, Matt ties a lot of tube type spinners and prop type flies for salmon, and they're not really flies like what we think of as flies. He's a fantastic tyer. And he messaged me last night, and he said, I said, "You should get in on this." And he's like, "Oh, man, I don't know. It's been a long time since I've tied an actual real fly." And I said, "It's all right. I have faith in you." And he signed up, so we'll see what happens.
So, any size restrictions on the nymph? No.
No.
Nymph's a nymph.
Nymph is a nymph. Whatever you want to tie, you can. If you think a little bitty detailed nymph is going to win you the round, then do that. If you think a great big, honking steelhead type stonefly is going to win, do that. All it is it has to be a nymph.
I'm not allowed to vote, but if you tie like a big 1/0 nymph, I would vote on that. Just for the hell of it.
Now, one other important thing to say: 7 o'clock Wednesday morning is your cutoff. Okay, we've got people all around the country, so we're working across different time zones. 7 o'clock is the cutoff. If you do not have your fly tied, photographed, and submitted by 7 o'clock on Wednesday morning, you will forfeit that round. Okay, and like I said, we're trying to keep this at about 3 weeks total. So I can't
wait. I need another day. You got to get them in by the submitted date. So, nymph is the first round. You have all your matchups. 1 in-process photograph, 1 finished photograph in the vise. Your finished fly has to be in Norvise, and you have till Wednesday at 7:00 to get them in. All right.
And then a question: any UK tires competing? Honestly, we don't know.
I don't know.
We don't know where everybody's from, so there might be, there might not be.
Yeah.
And Braden's asking, what kind of nymph can I turn into a game changer? If you tie 8 nymphs all up together.
Yeah. 7 a.m. what time zone? That would be my time zone, which is Eastern.
Matt Schindler goes, my first job ever was tying for Teeny Nymph Company.
Well, there you go. On a Norvise. Nice.
On a Norvise.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's 7 a.m.
7 a.m. hour. We're in Delaware, so it's Eastern Standard. All right. Anything else? Okay, I can do that. Yeah, I know you can do it. Eastern time zone. Yep. All right, let's spin up a few bugs here. So bear with us. We're gonna reposition the camera. We want to get you a closer view right up in here of where I'm tying. So give us, I don't know, a minute or so, a couple minutes. We'll get the camera repositioned. I'll spin up some bugs, and you guys keep firing the questions away. All right. You gonna move the camera?
All right, you're good. Start tying.
Okay. All right. So let's see. The first one that we're going to do. These are all shad patterns. It's shad season is coming up. Today's the 22nd of March, I guess. We've had a extremely warm winter. We quite frankly didn't have a winter. And I think the shad run's going to be a little bit earlier this year than it typically is. In my area, about the middle of April, April 15th is about the time that we really start looking for them to show up. Down in Virginia, they typically get them about 2 weeks prior to us having them up here in Delaware, Maryland area. I know the guys down in Virginia are starting to get them now. They just started to pick up decent numbers of them last week, so hopefully in about 2 weeks we're going to have them, which is going to be about a week earlier than normal. Dogwoods have bloomed or are blooming, and that's kind of the telltale when the dogwoods bloom. That's when the when the shad show up. So I've got 3 patterns. One of them is actually a fly that I tied last week, but the camera was kind of far away and you couldn't see it. So I'm going to do that one, and then I'm going to do 2 more of my shad patterns. All right, so the first one we call Hazardous Waste. And the thing about shad flies is basically what you're looking for a bright and flashy fly that's really going to kind of annoy the fish into biting. They're not really eating to eat when they come into the rivers to spawn, so you're basically trying to make them mad so that they bite what is in front of their face. So this first one we're going to tie on it's a Mustad 3366. It is a size 6. Okay, we've got a 3/16 red tungsten bead that we slip over the end. I'm going to get it in the vise here. And once I get this hook in, we may need to reposition the camera. We'll see. Just bear with us. All right, so we've got this is Semperfli's classic 8/0 thread. As I said last week, we've been tying with this thread a lot. I really like it. It's really it's a good thread, and we've been using a lot of the Semperfli products, and we're really happy with them. So I'm tied on. I'm going to lay down a thread base here about halfway back. Not going to go all the way back with my thread base.
and I'm going to pull out a handful of strands of lateral scale, and this is what's going to be our tail. It doesn't take much because we're going to double this over. So I've got 3 of them. I'm going to clip them off. Cool thing about shad flies is they really don't take long to tie. So I doubled them over and I clipped them. So 3 turned into 6. Now I'm going to take these, I'm going to fold this around the thread. So now 6 is going to turn into 12. Okay, and I'm going to use my thread to walk that up onto the shank of the hook. And I'm going to tie back to a spot just above the barb. Okay, shad are notorious for being short strikers, so you don't want a lot of tail sticking out of the back of your shad flies. So I'm going to pull these out, and I'm going to cut this off about right here or so, which is going to give me about less than ½ inch of tail sticking off the back of the fly. Okay, now I'm going to lay down some thread because I want the underbody to be all chartreuse. Okay, now I'm going to get this super secret material, which is Cabela's 12-pound high-vis yellow monofilament. Okay, and it's basically chartreuse mono, and this is literally about 5 lifetime supplies of this this product here on the spool. I'm going to pull a little bit off and cut it. Okay, that's all we need. I'm going to tie this on. Mono sometimes can be a little ornery to work with. It wants to kind of walk and roll around the hook. There we go. Tie that on. It can be slippery too, so I'm really laying a lot of thread on top of this. Now, back here at the tail, you want to get it good and tight because you have to basically put a 90-degree bend in this mono. Now I'm going to wrap it up to the front. I'm going to throw a ½ hitch on it. Okay, now again, we're going to activate the rotary function of the vise. I'm not going to hand over hand wrap this. I'm going to tension the material one time, and I'm going to work it around the point of the hook. Okay, and then I'm just going to spin the vise, and I'm going to walk this mono right up to the bead of the hook. And see how easy that lays that down nice and even. If you were hand over hand wrapping that, I can almost guarantee you when you're working with mono, it would not be as smooth and even as what I have here. All right, so I got my body wrapped. Now I'm going to take my auto bobbin. I'm right back in and ready to tie. And I typically will do like 3 wraps behind, 3 wraps in front, and then clip it off. Because this is mono, I repeat that 3 times. You really need to get some thread wraps on this so that it doesn't slip when you clip it off.
Ed Hayes asked if a green weenie is considered a nymph.
Ed, if you want to submit a green weenie, knock yourself out, brother. Okay. Now I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to come up nice and tight, and I'm going to clip that off. And I'm actually going to come in with my fine point scissors, and I'm going to try to clip that off a little closer. There we go. Okay, I'm going to throw a ½ hitch in it. Go on my cradle. And I'm going to get a little Senyo's laser dub in chartreuse. And basically what this is going to do, this is going to cover up the ugly tie-in spot of the mono. I've got a little bit of dubbing teased out here. Spin the vise. I'm going to touch the dubbing to the thread. You can see it's going to pull it right out of my fingers, right up onto the thread. Going to pinch it here. I want to tighten this up a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to pinch it here, and I'm going to spin the vise, and then watch what happens in this area. See how it tightens that right up? Now, I'm not going to let go. I reach under here, and I walk it right up on and make the collar of my fly right up onto the shank of the hook. And there you go. Whip finish. And I'll put 2 whip finishes in there. And we'll come in here. And there you go. She's done. Like I said, shad flies are not very hard to tie. Okay. And that's O'Neill's Hazardous Waste. Really, we're looking for something that's bright and flashy. This lateral scale, it's like a crimped flashy boo. It's like a flashy boo that they put in a flat iron. And you can see, and I don't know if that's coming through on the camera, but when you turn it, you can see it's really catching the light, and it really has a lot of cool colors in it. In the water, this thing almost kind of glows. All right, so that's O'Neill's Hazardous Waste. Questions on that one?
What's the purpose of the mono?
Just to shad flies are bright. That's the biggest thing. You could do the same thing with a chenille body, which we're going to do a chenille bodied fly here in a minute. You could do the same thing with dubbing if you wanted. Mono is just it's something cool that I was playing around with one day, and I put it on the hook, and it looked cool. And then I took that and I actually make a caddis larva that I call a nuclear caddis, and I make a nuclear mayfly. So I use that for the body of the caddis and for the body of the mayfly. So it's just a cool effect. Really, I'm just looking for something that's bright. Okay. Anything else? Okay. Pattern number 2. We'll see a lot of guys that are fishing, and some of my friends, if you're familiar, and they will do this. If you're familiar with the shad dart, which is the little lead-headed jig, typically they have like a white head or a red head with a white body, like the lead portion is red and white, and then they'll have like Flashy Boo or Crystal Flash or Marabou or Arctic Fox coming off the tail, and it's basically just a little hair jig. A lot of the guys that I fish with will tie that onto their tippet and fish it, and there's nothing wrong with that. For me, I wanted something that was more on the fly end of the spectrum. That tying the shad dart onto your tippet, it's kind of flirting with tying a lure onto your fly line, which some people kind of frown upon. I could care less. If you're out fishing, you're having fun, and you're not breaking any rules, knock yourself out. But I wanted something that was kind of shad dart-esque, but was a fly.
Well, and someone told you that you'd never be able to do it, so you really had to make it happen.
I was getting to that point too. This is the first fly that I ever designed, and I was told that it wouldn't work, and it works really, really good. So that kind of, every time I catch a fish on one of these, I think about this. So
Benzinger said they're killing them in the Rappahannock in Virginia, and yellow and orange seem to be the color of choice so far this year.
All right, cool.
We'll see if it holds up here.
Yeah, we fished.
I love orange.
We fished a lot of orange last year, and orange was hot last year, and that's kind of not the norm for us. So yeah, if they're down in, if you guys are bagging them down there, then hopefully we're going to have them here in about 2 weeks. So that's good. All right. So same hook, Mustad 3366 size 6, and I have 2 medium cones here, and these happen to be both gold, but you can do gold, you can do silver. If you can find the colored cones, and they're not easy to find all the time, if you can find red and white, you can put a red one on and put a white one on behind it, and you can really get that same kind of effect as a shad dart.
The bright salmon and steelhead ones.
Yeah, exactly. So the first cone goes on like normal. So it goes on and around the bend of the hook, just like you would put a normal cone on if you were doing a bugger or a slump buster or whatever. The second one goes on backwards. Okay, so you put, it's kind of tough to see, but you'll see when I get it on there. You put not the small end, but the big end or the opened end of the cone onto the hook point. Depending on what hook you're using, you will probably have to debarb the hook to get the cone on, which is fine. I debarb all my shad flies anyway. So when you get done, you have 2 cones on here, and they're facing big end to big end. So you have kind of like a reverse hourglass shape. All right, so you put 1 cone on, then you put the other cone on. Now you've got options here. These are standard. You can put 1 standard and 1 tungsten cone. You can put 2 tungsten cones if you want. You can also put 2 tungsten cones. You can spread them apart, and you can put a bunch of lead in here and wrap the lead around it before you push the 2 cones together. And if you're going to do that, you better be throwing it on a 7 or an 8 weight, because if not, you're going to bury it in the back of your head. Okay? But this is just going to be a standard one. This is called O'Neill's Dart. When I designed my first fly, I was very creative with the name. So you got two cones on, open end to open end, pushed on, and you get kind of a reverse hourglass shape to it. Now I'm going to put this in the vise. And again, we're going to use the standard inline, so we want the hook shank level and even.
We have a guy from Colombia.
Colombia, wow. Yeah. That's cool.
All right, so 4 continents so far.
Okay. So now I'm going to switch. I was using Chartreuse thread on the last one. I'm going to use red thread again. This is the same thread, the Semperfli A. Classic. All right. I'm going to tie my thread on here. Now don't worry about those cones that are bouncing around. We're going to fix that here in a second. So I got my thread tied on. I'm not going to lay a thread base. I'm not going to do anything. My thread really isn't going to advance much more than where it is right there. This step I have used, we've used Crystal Flash, I've used Flashabou, I've used Marabou, I used a lot of Arctic Fox for a while. I was really into time with Arctic Fox. The latest thing that I like to use for this is this Krenic Flash that you get from
Eastern Trophies, William.
Yeah, William, how do you say his last name?
Hershniak,
yeah. Great stuff. They tie a fly that's called a Krenic, or they tie a fly that's called a 6th man that uses this flash. And I started using this stuff in this pattern, and the way when this is in the water and the way it moves and catches the light is just awesome.
Son's watching.
Oh, cool. Hey, son, what's up, bud? All right, so we're going to peel out a little bit of this. And again, very short tail on this guy, so you don't need a lot because we're going to double it over at least once. All right. So I got about that much.
About a dozen strands.
I would guess a dozen. I'm not counting them. All right. I'm going to double it over. And I'm going to cut it in half, so now a dozen
it's 24.
Is now 24. Okay. I'm going to take this. I'm going to tie it on in the middle, and I'll move my hand here in a second, and I want to tie this on right behind the 2 cones. Okay, so there I've got it tied on. Okay, now I'm going to take this, and I'm going to fold this back. So now 24 now just became 48. So you can see the tail of this thing bulks up very, very quick. Okay, now I got to get my thread up on top of this, and I want to get this tied down like so. Okay. So now all we're going to do is we're going to take the vise, and I'm going to spin the vise, and I'm putting thread on the shank of the hook. Now what you got to do, you put a little bit of thread on, and then you reach in here and you line these 2 cones up. And basically what's going to happen is we're going to build a dam thread up right here, and it's going to serve 2 purposes. It's going to tie the flash onto the shank of the hook. It's also going to take and it's going to push the 2 cones up against the eye of the hook. So that's why you want to do a little bit, spin a little bit on, okay, and then check the alignment of your cones, and then spin a little bit on. And that's why this pattern on this particular vise is so cool, because if you were doing this on a standard vise that the hook was static and you were wrapping it, you would be wrapping for a long time. All right, so I'm going to put a little on. Okay, now those cones, you can see they're lined up. they're pushed together up against the eye of the hook, and they're extremely tight. They're not going anywhere. Now I want to come in here. I'm going to get some more wraps down here against the, and I'm just working my bobbin up and down, and that's about all I want right there. Okay. Now I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to whip finish right here on top. I'm going to do two-turn whips. And I'm going to clip this off. Okay, now.
Is that where you'd put Solares if someone didn't steal it and take it to his house?
If I had it here, I would coat this area with Solares Bone Dry. Coat it, let it kind of work its way around the thread wraps, and then spin the vise and hit it with the light. But my Solares seems to have disappeared off of my fly tying bench, and I think it is at somebody's apartment. So if I had it here, this would be a really, really good time to put some Solares on it. But I don't, so I'll just set this one aside, and I'll glue it up later.
Shannon asked if we've ever thought of gluing the cones together.
No, I haven't, because this was the first way that I've done it, and this was what I was told was not going to work. They said that the cones would not stay together, and I have some of these that are 10 years old that I fish with every year, and as long as you get those thread wraps on there good and tight and get it forced the cones up against the eye of the hook, they'll stay. Okay, so now I'm going to come in here, and again, shad are notorious for short striking, so I don't want a crazy long tail on this. And I'm going to line these all up, and I'm going to give them one snip, and they're gone. And there you go. As simple as that. That's O'Neill's Dart. This is a very, very good pattern for deep water. If early in the season when the water's high, there's not a lot to it. It sinks very quick. It's heavy. It's got 2 cones on it, and if you put 2 tungsten cones, it is extremely heavy. But yeah, just a great, great pattern. I like gold with the red body in the middle. I like silver with silver flash and a blue body in the middle. And I like black or gunmetal cones with black flash and chartreuse thread in the middle. Those are my 3 favorite colors.
Sounds like our old Panther Martin spinners.
Yeah, exactly.
What hook again?
Mustad 3366, size 6. Same as the Hazardous waist, the same hook on both of the first 2 patterns.
And Duke said, don't you live in an apartment with Tyler?
Negative. Negative. All right.
Apparently he got a top fan badge.
Oh, Duke did?
Yeah.
Cool.
Another Vice Company convert, and he already got a top fan badge.
All right, so that's O'Neill's.
And Son said that
O'Neill's
he misses
Dart.
the Shad's run back east.
Well, I forgot you're in Colorado. I was going to say come down here fishing with us, but I forgot you're out in Colorado. You were only here for Christmas. But when you move back east, you can come fish with us. All right. So last pattern. This one is probably the one that I fished the most. It's the same pattern that I tied last week. It's going to be in the same color, but like I said, we've got the camera closer so you can see the fly. Now, this one, there's a story behind this. So the fly shop in Delaware that I used to work at, the shad run, we've been doing this for a very long time. And back 10, 12 years ago, there were no, companies didn't really make shad patterns. And even today, you can't really find them available. There are some, but they don't really make quote unquote shad flies. And 12 years ago, nobody did it because shad fishing was just not popular at all. So we would have to tie these things. And we would start in like December. And the original version of this, it was called the Deer Creek S-Fly. And it typically had a gold or a silver bead, and the body was two different colors of chenille. So I'm laughing at some of the stuff that's going back and forth here.
Yeah,
it's pretty funny.
Not going to say that out loud, Larry.
Yeah. So for what they are, they would take a bit of a long time to tie. And we would start in December, and we would start tying, and I would start tying, and we would tie and tie and tie and tie. And we had a little Plano tackle box that we kept up front by the cash register. And I had just got the box full, and we had all our favorite colors and so forth. And a customer came in, one of our good customers, and he walked up and he's like, "Oh, you guys got shad flies. Awesome." And he took the whole box, he turned it upside down, he dumped every single one of them out on the counter, and he bought every fly out of the box. Now, for the shop, it was great because it was like a $400+ fly sale. It was $400 in flies. But for us, it kind of stunk because now, we're right before shad season and we had an empty box. So I wanted to come up with a way to speed this pattern up. So I got rid of the two-tone chenille body. We went with a colored bead, one color chenille body, and the Marabou tail. So this is a Mustad 3366 size 8. I believe it is a 4XL streamer hook. It's a size 3/16 tungsten bead on here. The colors that we go with typically are going to be this one, which is my favorite. It's bubblegum pink and electric blue. Chartreuse and red, so chartreuse tail and body with a red bead. That is Ed's favorite. Ed, my buddy One Boot Ed, one morning landed 127 shad on a chartreuse and red shad crack. This is called O'Neill shad crack.
2 years ago, he broke 200 in one day.
That's right.
And almost got hypothermia doing it because he didn't want to leave the river until he got 200 fish.
Yeah, he had a goal of getting 200 and he broke 200. So
went back to the truck to warm up like 3 times to go back out and break 200.
When the run's on, it's strong. But bubblegum pink and electric blue, chartreuse tail and body and a red bead, black tail and body and a chartreuse bead, and a white tail and body and a pink bead. Those are the 4 color combos that we use the most. And to be honest with you, probably 75% of the time, if I'm shad fishing, this is the fly that's on my tippet.
So what else can this fly be used for? Because there's a lot of people that don't fish for shad.
Let's see. We have caught on this fly. Actually, Braden Miller's brother, Blake, took my fly tying class in Virginia, and he just caught a bunch of trout on a shad crack a couple of days ago. We have caught panfish on this fly, just about every species of panfish. We have caught steelhead on this fly, drifting it under an indicator. So it's a very, very versatile fly. People see this one that I'm going to tie now, and I get comments all the time. That would be a great coho salmon fly up in Alaska. So it's very versatile. It basically, what it comes down to, it's a woolly bugger without the hackle. But when you're tying shad flies, you're looking for speed because you need to tie a lot of them. So Mustad 3366, 3/16 bead. If I was tying them for the shop, I would leave this step out. If I'm tying them for myself, I always put a layer of 15 thousandths lead on the underbody. So to put the lead on, and like I said, I did this one last week, but we're going to zoom in so that you can see it. We're going to run the eye of the lead up through the hook. You got to get it
on the lead through the eye of the hook.
The lead through the eye of the hook, right? And then I'm just going to spin the vise, and it's going to lay that lead on there for me, nice and even. Get that back up there. And of course, when we're doing Facebook Live, it wants to act up on me. So let me start over. All right.
You need an unkinked piece of lead to start with, and put more through the eye. There you go.
There we go. Now, and that's how it's supposed to work. So there's my lead underbody. I'm going to pinch that, break it off. I'm going to come in here with my bodkin. I'm going to pull that out. And I have 2 choices here. I can either pinch this off or I can wrap it on there. I'm going to push the lead up into the bead so it holds the bead on there. Now, to keep my lead from sliding around, I got to build a dam behind it. So I'm going to tie my thread on, clip my tag off, and I'm going to spin the vise and just work the vise up and down, up and down, up and down. And there you can see I built a nice taper. So I got a nice transition from my hook to my lead underbody. So let me get this back to the back. All right. Marabou blood quill. Now this is something that I just learned the other day, and our buddy Tony Muncie, who literally just this week became a Nor-vise ambassador, he showed me this trick. Well, he showed it in a YouTube video, and you've got this blood quill, and this is a good feather, but you have the stem of the feather that runs up through the center. And this was something that he showed in the video, and I think this is so cool, and it's something that I never thought about before. So the fibers on the feather are nice and wispy, and they move nice and easily, and that's what we're looking for. This center stem is the thickest part of the feather, so it doesn't move quite as easily as these fibers here on the outside. So what we're going to do, very simple, we're just going to reach in here. We're going to clip that out. So now I've clipped the center portion of the feather out. And now I'm going to fold this back. I still have basically the same amount of bulk in my tail that I'm looking for, but there's no center stem in here, and these move a lot freer than they do when they have this piece in it with the center stem. So that's a cool thing that I picked up the other day. So you know, watch videos, watch other people tie, because you can always pick something up. Now, again, Shad are notorious for being short strikers. So the tail I want from the eye of the hook to the point of the hook. So that's all I want. I don't want like a full length of the shank tail. I want a bit of a shorter tail on this. And if you've ever spent any time chasing shad, you know why. So we're going to tie that on. Get it on there good and tight. Now, a lot of people will take and they'll clip this section off. I don't want to do that. I want to leave that on and use that to bulk up the underbody of the fly. So I'm going to put some nice loose wraps on there just to get the feather lashed down to the shank of the hook. Now I can come in and I can clip this off. Now I'm going to spin the vise, use the rotary function of the vise to pull that feather down. Get back up to the front. Take my chenille, and I've already stripped the core, so I'm going to lay that stripped portion of core right here behind the bead. 3 good tight wraps. Now I'm going to fold. So I've tied in on the stripped core. Now I'm going to take the stripped core, I'm going to fold it back, and I'm going to wrap back over top of the core and the body of the chenille all the way to my tying point, all the way back up. Throw a half hitch in there, go on the cradle. Now I take and I twist this chenille up a little bit, because when it's on the card it has a tendency to flatten out, get some flat spots in it, so I'll put some twists in it. Okay, work my way around the point of the hook and walk it right up the shank. Pull it tight behind the bead. Now my auto bobbin, I'm right back in and ready to tie. 3 behind, 3 in front, spin it over, push pull, clip that off.
Put your light on the lower setting. It's like washing out the color. That's better. You can
Is
see
that
the
better?
color. Yeah,
Okay.
you can see the color a lot better.
Get that off. And there you go. Very simple O'Neill shad crack. And that is, like I said, if I'm shad fishing this one for Americans or hickories, this fly is on my tippet probably 75% of the time. So there you go. There's O'Neill's Hazardous Waste, O'Neill's Dart, and O'Neill Shad Crack.
Have a question. Do you know if shad will take the same flies colors used on the East Coast as they will on the West Coast, hoping to fish at the Columbia River when they start the run in June.
My understanding, and I do know some people that fish the Columbia River, and if any of you guys are on here, please feel free to chime in. My understanding is for the shad, pink and white are very hot colors out there, and they're standby shad colors out on the Columbia. So pink and white are hot colors and standby colors for us over here too. That kind of tells me that they're going to take the same color flies. Bigger water you're dealing with out there, so you're probably throwing bigger rigs and heavier flies, but I got to believe that the colors are going to be very similar. All right, anything else?
So we're asked if we could share the recipes. When we're going to save this and make it a YouTube video, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Why don't we put a list of the recipes in the YouTube video?
Yeah, we'll do that. Give us about, I don't know, till the end of this coming week, and we'll convert this video into a YouTube. We'll put it up on the YouTube channel, and in the notes on the video, I'll put the recipes for each of the flies in there, so you'll always have them to refer back to, and then you'll have the recipe and you'll have the live video right there that you can look at.
And then when you're on YouTube and you're checking out the recipes, you can go and hit that little subscribe button. That way, every time we go and post something up there, you get a notification.
Okay, what was the color combos for? I'm assuming that you mean for the shad crack. So it would be bubblegum pink and electric blue, which is the one that I tied here today. Chartreuse tail and body with a red bead. Black with a chartreuse bead, and our light just went out. Black with a chartreuse bead, and then white with a pink bead. Hey Tyler, look up in that cabinet and see if any of those shad fly boxes are up there. I might have. Are there any of the pre-made boxes with all the flies in them?
No, because I think we sold them all.
We sold them all? Okay. All right, so there's the white, or the blue, I'm sorry, the pink and the blue that I did. There's the chartreuse and the red. Okay.
Do not have any black and chartreuse.
Okay,
right
there is white and pink. Okay. This one is a color combo that Tyler came up with, and this fly was killer last year. Hey, Kelly's watching. Hey, Kelly, what's up? All right, orange and silver. This was an absolute killer pattern on our shad last year. And then we don't have any black and chartreuse, but we did some black and
there's black and blue.
Black and blue, yeah.
We got a lot of shad flies. That's what happens.
Yeah, we've got a lot. We for several years, this was one of the demo flies that we tied at the show. So we have a lot of shad flies. So there's black and blue.
Yeah, there's a lot of beads,
which works. And then this would be black, and typically we would have a chartreuse bead on here. So,
what size bead? 3/16.
3/16 tungsten. Yes.
We get a lot of them from Nature Spirit, and we get a lot of them from Rip Lips. If you check them out, they've got pretty good prices on like 100 packs of colored 3/16 beads.
Yeah, so we have a lot of shad flies here, guys. This is what happens when you demo shad flies for about 3 years at the show. I will bet if you send us a message.
Actually, Larry's on here.
Yeah,
hey,
Larry.
Larry, didn't you buy a box of shad flies? Whatever happened to them?
Yeah, Tyler just knocked the camera over. So yeah, Larry bought one of our pre-made boxes. So,
and left it on the tailgate of a truck and drove down the road with it.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, all right. Sorry, Larry.
You can buy another one.
All right, guys. So there you go. It is, what is it? We've been on for about an hour now, so a little bit over an hour. It's 10 minutes after 8. If you have any questions, get them in quick. We're going to sign off here shortly. March Madness, the brackets are up. Everything is on the website. Your fly needs to be
tied and photographed and into us by 7 o'clock on Wednesday. And I went over all the rules. We're going to post the rules here shortly tonight. If I don't get them up tonight, I'll try to get them up first thing in the morning. And I guess that's about it. If you have any questions, let me know. We'll stay on here for a couple more minutes, and then we're going to sign off.
What was the second fly?
The second fly that was the Shad, that was O'Neill's dart. That was the one with the 2 cones.
That was the second fly.
Second fly, 2 cones, place big end to big end. Krenic flash, and you can use crystal flash or Arctic Fox or whatever, and then your thread wraps are right here in the middle. The thread holds the flash onto the shank of the hook, and it also pushes the cones together up against the eye.
Larry said, great stuff. Maybe I'll try March Madness
Okay.
next year. He didn't say anything about his Shad box.
Yeah. That's funny.
Said he got to fish with him like once.
Hey, Larry, you know a guy. I'll bet if you drop us a message, I imagine we can take care of that for you.
He just got a vice. He can crank him out like crazy.
That's true.
Now. He's good.
That's true, yeah.
Duke goes, wish me luck. I'm not that good on March Madness.
No, you're fine. Hey, there's only one way to get better, and that's to push yourself. If you tie the same fly over and over and over, you're going to get really good at tying the same fly. Finney Mills, great show, guys. Good memories of the Shad class a few years back. Yeah. I would love to do that again. I've tried to do that, and we can't. I can't get the interest generated in it, and I don't know why, because it's a great class.
Well, all right.
All right, guys. We're going to sign off. If you have any questions, give us a shout, and thanks for spending some time with us tonight.